Hello beautiful people, thank you all for clicking on this video. I hope you all are doing wonderfully well. Today we are making a very simple recipe. We are making cassava flour with just one ingredient. See how smooth this cassava flour looks. Without wasting my time, let's get started. Alright, so for this recipe I'm going to peel off the skin from the cassava, or cut the skin from the cassava very nicely as I am doing. You can use a peeler or a slicer to peel it very nicely, but I'm using a knife to peel off the skin. Use any object around you that you feel comfortable in it, okay? So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do it to subscribe to my channel, and while you're subscribing, don't forget to hit that bell over there and be among the first person to be notified anytime I post a new video. Thank you so much for doing that. Next, I'm going to wash my cassava very nicely to get rid of any dirt out of it. And to my returning subscribers and new babies right here, you guys are too much. High five to everyone. Thank you for liking my video, sharing and commenting. Fam, your baby girl is truly grateful. And now the cassava is looking all fresh now, so we're going to set this aside and start grating it. If you don't want to grate it, feel free to cut your cassava into smaller pieces and blend it. But trust me, when you blend your cassava and you don't have the dehydrator machine to dry it very fast, and you are using the sun to dry it, and you're not lucky enough also to get a very scorching sun, then trust me, your cassava is going to ferment when you don't squeeze out the juice or the water out from the cassava very well. It's going to ferment, and we don't want that, because we don't want this fufu color to turn into like a brownish color or a black color. We want it so fresh, like original fufu color that we all know. In Ghana here, we have two types of cassava flour. We have the fermented one and the non-fermented one. So this is the non-fermented cassava flour that I'm making. The difference is that the fermented cassava will turn into brown or a black color after using it for your fufu recipe, and for the non-fermented cassava, you're going to get that natural fufu color that you're looking for. In another video, I'm going to show you how I make the fermented cassava flour as well. And if you don't have the grater, you can also use your slicer to slice your cassava beautifully, and make sure to slice it into tiny pieces, because we want this cassava to dry as fast as possible. Next, I'm going to use my hands to squeeze out the juice from the cassava very nicely, because we want this cassava to dry very fast. You can also use a chiffon cloth to squeeze out the juice out of it very nicely, okay? And after squeezing out the juice from the cassava, we're going to spread it out on a tray like this and keep it in the sun for about 20 to 24 hours depending on your temperature. So now let's repeat this process until everything is nice and ready. And after squeezing out the juice from the cassava, this is how it looks like. It's still moist, but I'm going to squeeze it one more time, and just look at that. I have less water in it right now. So now let's keep this in the sun to dry for about 20 to 24 hours. And this is after 20 hours of drying it. It's looking all dry and very crispy. And I love the fact that this cassava retained its color, meaning it didn't ferment, okay? So now let's transfer this into a mini blender and start blending it. You can use your regular blender as well if you want, but this works perfectly fine. And if you are still watching this video at this point and you haven't liked my video yet, please do it to like this video, and please do share as well. And because I grated my cassava, I was able to blend this into a powder form in less than 1 minute. Just look at that, very smooth, and that is the right consistency that I'm looking for. You can use this cassava flour for your bakeries, whether being your cake, your pancake, your fufu swallow, any recipe that requires for cassava flour, feel free to use it. And to also make sure that you have a very smooth cassava flour, then use your colander or a strainer to strain it very nicely. With this way, you're going to get that chaff that you don't need in your cassava flour. And as you can see, I didn't get any of it, meaning I really have a very smooth flour. So now you have your homemade cassava flour with just one ingredient. If you enjoyed this video, kindly give your girl a thumbs up and do well to subscribe as well. And if you haven't watched my plantain flour recipe, I will leave the video link in the description box for you to check it out, because I will be sharing a recipe of how to use both the plantain flour and also the cassava flour as well. Thank you so much for watching this video to this point. And if you've watched this video to this point, that means you are a proud foodie member. And if you haven't turned on the post notification bell, kindly do turn it on and be among the first person to be notified anytime I post a new video. Thank you for watching this video. Bye bye and stay blessed.